So this is the Chattanooga RPW Intelect machine, and also known as the clinical machine. And if you're unboxing your machine, what you'll find is that you'll find your orange power cord. In the rear of the machine we've got a storage drawer where you'll find your water bottle. In the front of the machine here we've got our two channels, so channel 1 and channel 2. And this is where you can attach the radial handpiece and also the V-actor handpiece if you've chosen to have one. The front here you've got your storage tray. This is where your transmitters sit. You've also got your gel as well as the handpiece holders for each of the two handpieces. When the machine's powered, what you'll see is there'll be a little blue light on the top left hand side here, and you simply push the button to turn the machine on. You can also press anywhere on the screen at any time. The screen often goes into a power save mode, so it will go dark. As long as the blue light is flashing green, the unit is on and you simply need to touch the screen. What we've got here, we've got a nice easy LCD screen. I term it a press screen, so you do need to press, and we've got the quick links on the top left hand side. Now with this, what we see here is we've got the most commonly used protocols, so it makes it really easy for you to use. So you can simply click on a protocol, for example Achilles tendinopathy, and it will bring up the settings required for the treatment. Next on the list we have the clinical protocols. This is you'll see here a graphic of the body, and you can select easily the part of the body that you're going to treat and the different protocols that there are for that body part. And so you simply need to navigate using up and down buttons, and when you find the protocol that you would like to use, pressing the return key. That brings up the protocol list, and if that's the settings that you'd like to proceed with, simply press return and that will take you to the treatment screen. To initiate a treatment, you must press the start button to engage the air compressor. So the next one here on the screen we have user protocols. Now this is an area that you can store your own protocols. So the clinical protocols in the machine are preset and ready to go. The user protocols are what you choose to store in the machine. And you can do this either by patient or by condition, it's up to you. And you simply, this is the area where you would go to retrieve any protocols that you may have stored. To return back to the home screen at any time, simply push the home button. The next one down on the left hand side is the channel select. We've got channels 1 and 2, and often what we'll see is you'll have on the channel 1 we'll have the radial handpiece, and channel 2 will be the V-actor. And simply for the treatment that you're doing at that point in time, we just need to make sure that you've got the right channel selected. At the bottom here on the left hand side we have a feature here called the ramp. Now this feature is exclusive to the Chattanooga machine, and in my opinion is one of the best features about the machine. It gives the ability to set the intensity, the desired intensity, and what the machine will do is the machine will start at a low intensity at 1.4, and it will progressively increase as the treatment goes through. After about a third of the treatment pulses to be administered, you'll reach the desired intensity. Now what this means for a patient is it's much more comfortable for the patient, and they can get used to the feeling of the treatment. Now at any time, if the patient's feeling uncomfortable or they've reached their maximum tolerance, you simply push the ramp feature during the treatment and it will keep the treatment intensity at the same level. Now what you can see here on the top right hand side, this is where the settings or the parameters live. The top one here we've got the hertz followed by the pulse counter, and the bottom one there is the transmitter that's been selected. Your middle screen here is your bar, which is your intensity. You can adjust any of these parameters from the home screen rather than using the clinical protocol setup if you wish to. To edit these settings, simply push the button on the top right hand side and you can go through and you can adjust your intensity, your frequency, your pulse counter, and also your transmitter that you've selected. Just note that the machine can't tell which transmitter you've chosen to place on the end of your handpiece, so you do need to manually adjust the handpiece transmitter. When you're ready to start your treatment, you simply push the start button, which will engage the air compressor, and you're ready to go. Trigger is a simple one touch, and a simple one touch to stop or pause. The other way of pausing the treatment, if you're not finished but you want to stop, is to pause on the screen here. As soon as you stop the treatment will finish. Touching the screen always takes you back to the settings that you've just used, and you can save this or you can run the protocol again if you wish to. So to find your unit settings, all you need to do is press the clinical files button here above the pause button. On the left hand side here you've got the anatomical library where you can find information about the conditions as well as images to show your patients, which will help with your education in the clinic. You've also got your handpiece library, which will show you where to place the handpiece while you're doing the treatment. You've also got the radial pressure wave rationale and a list of contraindications. On the bottom right hand side, the unit settings, this is where you'll find the software that you're using. You can name your machine, you can adjust your volume, and probably the most important one is your pulse counter. Now if we click on the pulse counter, you'll see that there are two channels here. The radial pressure is on channel 1 and on channel 2 is the V actor. With the radial handpiece, it's really important that you keep an eye on the pulse counter. The maximum number of pulses that the projectile and the barrel that are inside the handpiece should do is 1 million pulses. At that time, you should do a change of the projectile and the barrel.